world's ending, take a look around. You're tuned into the truth, or at least the truest sound. The path to a better planet, humanity's crescendo. Here's the plan, the regular man's manifesto. Regular man's manifesto. Regular man's manifesto. Regular man's manifesto. Regular man's manifesto.
Alrighty, welcome back to A Regular Man's Manifesto. My name is Chase Scribner. I got Jay McClintock and Cody Pyard here with me today. We're going to talk about a few topics, two in particular. One is going to be apocalyptic situation. We're not super sure of the details of it or how it's going to go down. Cody's going to be the one bringing all that up. And the second thing is going to be minimum wage. Jay will be mainly talking about that. And then we're going to bring up a top 5, and it is going to be the most outrageous purchases of all time. And that could be anything from someone who has no money, who bought something and sold it for a lot, or a guy who has a lot of money and just buys stupid shit. So I'm going to give it off to Cody, where he's going to start it off.
All right, so we narrowed it down to a close friend tells you that the economy is going to collapse, and somehow you know that he's completely telling you the truth. So he has like evidence or something, and either way, you know for sure the economy is going to collapse in 1 year.
He's a trustworthy fellow.
Yeah. What are you going to do about it?
First thing, I think we've all briefly discussed this before when we were coming up with the topic, is you got to get your hands on a lot of money first and foremost.
I mean, like, if money in 1 year is not going to be worth anything.
Yeah.
So, like, how much money do you need?
You got to spend it.
Yeah, so you got to get a bunch of money and then turn it into a lot of tangible assets, like property, supplies, as quickly as possible.
Property will probably not be worth anything unless it's like a fortress.
But
yeah.
we're not talking about like just an economic collapse where everything goes through a cycle and it comes back. We're talking about like an economic collapse where it's like apocalypse style.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
global sicknesses start occurring.
All the old people in Florida die probably real fast.
Yeah, really quick. They burn up, turn into raisins. You can't eat them. I don't know. That might be a thing we want to discuss, whether you eat the old raisin people in Florida.
Cannibalism is definitely an option.
Do they taste like raisins?
Like a meaty raisin.
A meaty raisin. I don't know how that would go.
That's a good question. Only one way to find out, though, I guess.
All right. So that went off in a weird way, but so the first thing that I think most people are gonna do is take out a bunch of loans. That's what I was thinking.
Take out loans like for money, like I say
Yeah.
they don't have enough right
Take
now.
out a crap ton of loans. Try to get.
But my thing is don't you think that like banks will see that all these people are starting to take all these like
no, because it's only you.
You just know you're one of the select few people that know.
Yeah.
And that's one thing I want to talk about too. Is like, who do you guys tell of this situation?
I'm definitely bringing in close friends and relatives. I mean,
right.
But how do you ensure that they don't tell people and then
yeah.
it just cascades that way? Once that info is out, then you lose all the elements of surprise. And
I think it's different because somehow this close friend was able to tell you for sure. But then you don't have the same information that person had to convince you to that degree of sureness. So it's going to be hard to convince all your friends that the economy is going to collapse in a year.
Exactly.
You're going to be like a psycho, like one of these doomsday preppers to all your friends. But you have to convince them to get on board with you and start preparing.
Yeah. And
Okay.
I would say I would believe both of you if you guys came to me and said, I know that this is going to happen. We have to start preparing now.
Yeah, and I think that I would say that you're full of shit.
You would do that.
I would definitely...
Well, fuck you.
I would think about, like, I'm like, come on, dude. Like, you think of some weird stuff sometimes. You'd have to convince me pretty good. It would take me, like, a good... Like, if you were, like, if you started taking out loans and stuff and started, like, buying some goods that I know that you don't buy, then, like, yeah, I probably would start believing you.
Jaybird bought 17 machetes last month.
Yeah, I'm like, whoa, wait a second.
He's taking this preparation very seriously.
Yeah.
I think you definitely need able-bodied people. One of my first thoughts was to buy a farm and kind of like turn it into like a compound, because like
Compounds are nice.
if you, it's like one of the tangible things. Like after it collapses, well, you need to grow your food.
But then you make
somehow.
yourself into a target. Like that's one of the things I'm dealing with is either become a nomad and just learn all these survival skills and
Yeah.
then take what you need, or build a fort and then try and build like a team of people around you, which is risky, I think.
I'm in on the fort idea.
Okay, so like
You gotta get guns and
so I guess it'd be good to have almost like both of those. Kind of have like your little solitude fort base, whatever, with however many people, and then have no man's skills along the lines of like, you know, being able to like, you know, forage for fruit or whatever that you need to learn how to grow stuff. Like I watched those, like that YouTube video of that one guy. There's no like words, or there's no music or anything. It's like this dude, primitive lifestyle or primitive something, and he literally like builds these like shacks out of like sticks and leaves and clay, and it's like super fantastic. It's fantastic to watch.
I think you've got a year to prepare. While you're preparing, like buying all this stuff and stuff, you should be reading like skill books and getting ready for any situation, really.
But you only got a certain amount of time. It's either, I think, if you want to do it right, you either gotta go one way or the other. You're either gonna live off the land and forage and have all the weapon skills and machete skills and all the survival skills, or you're building a team of people and collecting all the supplies you need.
I think my plan is to build that fortress, because you're gonna pick up things that come with you when you probably eventually have to turn into that nomad person when everything collapses, because it's usually how it goes, at least in TV shows and things. So like you're gonna pick up all these skills, but if you go with the plan of being a nomad, then you're not gonna have the skills of building a fortress.
Another thing is, if like I have
I
a
don't think it
gun,
translates.
I fucking shoot you in your goddamn head. You know what I mean? Like if you're just roaming around by yourself, you have no people skills, you're just like running around like trying
I'd be
to
hard to
collect.
shoot though.
No.
I'm not gonna be.
What are you gonna like ninja it back and
No,
forth?
man.
Yeah.
You have to
You
have like a
sneaking up
team.
on
Or,
me?
you have to have a team or like whatever. You got to have some sort of backup plan. You can't just do it all by yourself.
Is this all your family and friends?
It doesn't matter who it is, whoever it is. It could be strangers that you meet. I don't know.
You
Right.
trust
It's a
a
bad
stranger not to kill you and take all your stuff in the middle of the night.
Take what though? I mean, like if we're building this, we have a whole year to prepare. All right. So like at that point, like say we took out however much money we have now, currently whatever, we sell off some stuff. We get some loans. We buy, you know, whatever it is. We say we're here in Fort Wayne. Let's take Fort Wayne as an example. Like here, where would you want to be? Not downtown.
Not downtown.
You don't want to be in the city. You don't particularly want to be too far away from anything. You don't want to be out in the middle of nowhere where there's nothing around you. Like
I
Fort
want
Wayne's
access
surrounded
to
by
fresh water for sure.
Okay, and our water system here is not the freshest.
Nope.
But there is other, like, I mean, there's a lot of lakes and everything around here.
Mm-hmm.
If you went up to like James and stuff, like you're gonna be dealing with a lot of already rich people and whatnot, so
You go
that
too
might
far.
be a struggle.
You go too far out, you're dealing with the hillbillies that
Yeah.
all know how to shoot.
Yeah, so it'd be like you'd have to find a place to go, and honestly, my thing is, I would want to, if I have a whole year to prepare or whatever, I'd build into the ground.
Yeah.
And it's not like, and another thing
Like a
too
bunker.
is the way I think about it is, like, say it hits us, okay? So it's not going to be instant to where it's like today's Monday and tomorrow's Tuesday, and then tomorrow everybody goes crazy and loses their mind. Like, it's going to be like a build up, a subtle build up.
A lot of people are going to die in the process, is what I'm thinking.
It's going to be a subtle build up, and if you hold out, if you create a bunker and you hold out for 2, 3, 4, 5 years, you build like a family, you build like a small community in your little area wherever you decided to build it. You have farms, you have fresh water, you kind of have everything that you need, and you have a leader. I think having a leader is
Leader is
key.
very important, which is another thing I want to talk about, though, is like what kind of system of government are you running on these compounds?
I wouldn't consider it a system of government.
Feudal? So, like, you're the lord of the manor,
Oh,
and you've got other people.
It's got to be that way.
It has to be whoever. But here's my thing, though. So say if we're doing it, us three. You know what I mean?
That's different.
You know what I mean? Who's the leader of
That's
us
a
three?
different dynamic, though. If it's just us three,
Well, no, it
There's
wouldn't
no
be just
leader.
us three. We'd have to.
It'd be-
Your
We're bringing-
family would be there. His family would be there.
then I
My
would say
family
if
would
it
be
was
there.
us three and then our families, it would have to be like a round table thing between us three, and we're the council.
A triumvirate. Okay, I mean...
I like that. I never even really thought of it like that.
Alright, but then is there like a military leader and then like an economic leader?
I mean, yeah, I think
I don't know.
I think you could
Jason
do it
make
to
a good
certain
military
extent.
leader,
I think
though.
you got. I think everyone. I would say like if we were just taking our group in particular, I think we all have like certain skills, and if we have a year to prepare, I would say like right now, I've only shot a gun one time my whole entire life. I've held a lot of guns and stuff. I don't really have like a fear for them or anything. Like I've had guns pointed at my face. Wasn't
Me
really
too.
wasn't really that scared of it. Just in general, like I feel like I could learn how to use a weapon very easily. I pick up things quickly. I'm fairly athletic. I'm big and strong. I guess that's a good move.
For the listeners, Chase is built like an ox. Or a bull would probably be more accurate. He was a bull in a china shop.
Definitely bad. A bull in a china shop.
Definitely a bull in a china shop type person.
You could strike fear into their opponent's eyes.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I was going to say about the nomad lifestyle, you're talking about if anybody's going to sneak up on me and kill me and stuff, but if you're going into that nomad lifestyle from the get-go, you're going to be that person who's doing that to other people. Or how are you going to survive?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Nice.
Yeah. Oh, well.
So you'll have a target on your back too.
Yeah.
No matter what. So you could either build a base that's like somewhat safer in a way, and honestly, probably most of the people that you're going to attract, especially at first, are just going to want to be there and be. There's so many followers in this world.
Yeah.
There's so many
Well,
followers
you're gonna have to deal with
to
that.
where like you're gonna have this. Say you build like this, like a wall. It's like this guy comes up. And he's like, "Let me in, please," and then you'll just be like, "Okay, what do you have to offer?"
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you're probably gonna turn away a lot of people, and all the people that you're turning away are just followers.
They're going to be bitter, though.
No, they're gonna be followers though. They're followers, so they're gonna move on to the next guy who has a fortress until someone lets him in. That's. But then sometimes there'll be a guy who comes up and goes, "Hey, like let me in," and you're like, "Well, what do you have to offer? Whatever." And then they say like, I got this, and you're like, it's not enough. Like I'm sorry, like you gotta go. And then they're gonna be bitter. Maybe they build like a little army and they try to attack. But that's on us to be able to defend ourselves.
If
Man,
they're-
that's
but
dangerous.
My thing is, if I like what you're saying about how they're followers and just gonna move along.
So many followers.
Because if they were able to do that, build up that little army and get into your fortress in the first place, then they wouldn't be asking to get in. They're already gonna be doing it, trying to get in and take all your stuff and ransack.
It could just be coincidental. Like, oh, yeah, like I got kicked out of that fucking place, too. What are we going to do about it?
and then they have to find a follower.
They'll shoot like a
They're
one
gonna be
flaming
followers.
arrow.
They're gonna be followers, and then they're gonna have to find one
But
little leader.
That's
Yeah.
like if you prepared for a year though, you're gonna have way
Yeah.
better weapons than anybody who you come up against.
Still, though, you can imagine the amount of damage you could do with just, like, one bullet. You go out and stretch your legs in the morning, some dude just knocks your block off.
Well, what
Well,
if
you
you're
gotta have a defense system.
yeah?
set
What if
up.
you're not okay? Let's say like
You're living in the fortress 100% of the time.
No. I would my ideal fortress would be self-sustainable. So like I would have like solar panels and rain barrels and all the things that would keep me alive within my fortress.
so where you wouldn't need to go out at all.
Yeah. Well,
It
you would need
depends
to
on
go
how
out
big it would
minimally.
be.
Minimal.
So it would I think that would break down to like the way I was seeing it in my mind was like something that's small, like something that's little that you can like really fortify, something like you can really keep safe.
But
Like
that keeps your expansion prospects low. Like, you can only let a very little amount of people in there.
If it's so small, do you even have room for our families?
maybe not all of them.
Sorry, Grandma. You don't bring.
Well, I mean,
Oh, yeah,
she
then-
she could knit us sweaters.
You better keep those fingers going.
Yeah. Woman.
Winter's coming.
But no, that's kind of like in my mind, like the way I was seeing this, because I feel like at first, let's say the first like 5 years is it's just gonna be like who can withstand it,
Yeah.
pretty much. I'm thinking the first 5 years is gonna be who can take the beating, who's not gonna get killed, pretty much, because people will go crazy very quickly. Think about how crazy people go for like Black Friday deals.
Or
You know what I mean?
or hurricane season
Yeah.
when it happened in New Orleans. Civilization crumbles quickly, and that's what a lot of people do not realize, and that this is a facade.
You turn into a giant gang war
Yeah.
type
Yeah.
deal.
Yeah, at the end of these 5 years, we're gonna be left with some really hardened people,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the people who survived are gonna be very
and
hard.
the people inside your compound are gonna be soft.
No, they're
Ah.
gonna see some shit.
They're
There's
gonna
gonna
see
be some-
some shit, but not gonna see all of this
But
shit.
you're like.
But we
acting like-
could,
There's-
inside of the compound, as a leader, you could take things in your own hand and make them see some shit.
Well.
Just saying. Just saying.
Are you saying
It's
like capital punishment for stealing a loaf of bread inside
No,
the compound?
no, I'm talking about like oh no, like we're being attacked from the outside, like someone got killed.
False flag operation?
Kind of,
You're
man.
gonna 9/11 us?
It could be. You gotta keep us hard, and if you're talking about how we're gonna be this soft little pansy group where we're like, wow, what are we gonna do?
You're gonna false flag us.
We're gonna build a squad, man. Gold squad, 100%. What they're doing? I got a whole gym. I could bring the whole gym. They'd be huge. Everybody'd be jacked.
I think you go like Indian tribal techniques.
Guerrilla warfare is gonna reign supreme.
You have your hunters and you have your gatherers. And your hunters do the work, and then some of the gatherers kind of trickle in and learn.
By the way, in these hunter-gatherer groups in my anthropology class, the gatherers do the vast majority of the work, and the hunters
80%.
Yeah, like if you look at the calories that each group brings in, the gatherers just take the cake. They just bring it all in, and the hunters just get all the glory, though. Yeah, you killed a lion and 2 people died in the process, but I just brought in a bunch of pistachio nuts.
Yeah.
And we're all gonna eat tonight.
Yeah. So, like, some things that, okay, how about this? Let's like a small list of things that, like, you think that you would bring, like, you would need. Like, some things that you would prep for in general. Like, I get it, like, food and water, but, like, other things.
I'm gonna need a firearm, a trusty pistol, a pistol first and foremost. I'm gonna need to learn to shoot it big time.
That's something you would do in your year, though. You would, like, get the training to shoot, which that's very easy to do.
Yeah.
A rifle, a long-range weapon, and a melee weapon. If I've learned anything from video games, that's how you cover all your bases.
Got to.
Fallout 3, thank you so much.
Yes,
you gotta have those things. I think one of the I'm definitely concerned about guns and training and stuff like that, but I think getting like that sustainability within your compound, like electricity, I think would go out.
Oh,
and so would like running water and all those things. So you're gonna want to have a system where you can get some of the basics of those, so like solar panels, rain barrels, like I mentioned before, and like I would kind of try to learn how to garden better. I think
pottery.
Yeah,
pottery would be good.
Yeah.
Also, are we going to be collecting books? Because I think we should. I think we want to set ourselves apart as the compound that has knowledge.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Education for the younger ones.
You need to have some things where who's ever in your compound isn't going crazy and just wanting to kill people because they're bored.
Exactly. Idle hands are the devil's playground.
All right.
So keep these followers doing something.
You got to keep people busy for sure. And then as being like a leader in the compound too, you could always create activities to build chemistry or to build whatever you need it to be.
By the way, has anybody ever heard that Al Qaeda used to host volleyball games?
No.
And that Osama bin Laden was actually a really good volleyball player.
I could see that.
Shut up.
I could
What?
see that.
This is real. You can find information on it.
Wow.
Him and another tall terrorist leader had to be on opposite teams.
Is he tall?
Yeah, he was tall. He was like 6'4", 6'5".
Osama bin Laden was 6'5".
Yes, he's huge.
Awesome.
I could see
I had
this
no
being
idea.
a video game. They're unlockable characters.
Wow.
Fucked
Yeah,
up video
these
game.
two tall leaders had to be on opposite teams because they were so good at volleyball. It isn't weird that they would have volleyball games.
It's very strange.
And they also had 1 month paid vacation each year.
Pretty sure his whole life was a giant vacation.
Yeah, but anybody in Al Qaeda.
Oh.
Yeah,
I
that's
mean-
better than any American.
I mean, I think part of like it's like that's crazy and all this shit, but it's like they're humans too.
Yeah,
that.
like we
do have fun things and do things. They're not all just about killing people.
We've done our best to demonize them, and we don't like to picture them doing what we picture to be American things. Like, I think volleyball is pretty American, right?
I think it's probably like
it's a world thing.
It's a world sport.
But we dominate at it,
Yeah.
so I think it's picked up as being an American thing.
Just talking about that, where you're talking about Osama bin Laden, like Prince recently died or passed away, and everyone keeps talking about the Charles Murphy basketball scene and Dave Chappelle, and I actually did a little bit of research, and he was actually good in basketball, surprisingly
State
really
champion,
good.
right, in high school?
Something like that. Yeah, he was actually really good at basketball.
He really was, and that is surprising. That story might be true. And I think there's actually a picture of that day, right?
Supposedly, I don't know if that can't be a real photo.
The pancake thing at the end might not.
That's one of the best. the best skits on that whole show. That whole show was amazing.
Oh yeah, it was great. It was great.
Where did we just end up at? Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Charlie
right.
Murphy. Okay.
All right, stop. We're getting back to the apocalypse thing here. So some things that I would prepare. So like you're talking about how you would just want to be self-sustainable, which I think is something that you would push for. But just originally, so this is it before you're in your base.
Yeah.
Okay. So like you can live off like food and like you can get canned food that lasts for years upon years upon years.
Yeah.
I mean, you can get water and just whatever.
Don't get lima beans, please.
I'm just saying,
Actually, those do sound good.
those are
For a
things
little
that
variety.
last forever. Another thing too is like stockpile gasoline. You get generators, things like that. Because if you're gonna lose electricity, say the solar panel thing, like like what if it, someone cuts your power off to that or whatever. If you have a generator, all you have to do is you need gas to run it. Pretty much, that's it.
I guess my plan is more of like the long haul. So we're talking about
Batteries.
5 years. We're talking about having to put up with people from the outside. Maybe we have to trade some goods for something. Maybe one of our peoples gets captured and we have to trade some of our goods. Like I'm talking about like the long haul.
Mm-hmm.
I've got an item that needs to be collected. Salt. Undervalued, but it is very essential to survival. If you want your food to last longer, if you kill an animal and you want it to last long, put salt on it.
You know how easy
Unless
salt
you
is to
can
get.
refrigerate.
Water retention.
Salt is
Water.
not easy to get unless you're like talking grocery store. Where do you find salt in the wild around
Well, I
here?
mean, like you can stockpile salt.
Yeah.
You could, yeah, but you need to, and nobody thinks of it.
Well, I mean, that's like you have a whole year. You can stock. How much salt can you stockpile in a year? Oh my God.
It takes up a lot of space.
But we gotta talk money too, because we're talking about we're just gonna have all these canned goods, all these.
Okay, so if we're
all
just
these
talking
things.
canned goods,
A generator. You talking
generators,
about generators?
they're not expensive. Gasoline is, I guess, would probably be the most expensive thing. Guns would probably be the
But we're
most.
preparing for 5 years. We
Or
got
whatever.
1 year to do it. You think you got enough money? We could all get enough money to prepare for 5 years without making money anymore. We're just gonna live off of all these things.
Yeah, that's pretty. I would think that'd be quite
There's
simple.
nothing we could sacrifice. We would have to.
Well, my thing is
and
like,
get somewhere where we'd have to live too.
I think we need to.
I got a great credit score, man. Like I can get a huge loan.
Yeah.
I could
Like,
too.
It's great. I mean, I could get a huge loan.
And you could just go state to state, probably. Well, maybe not state to state, but you can go bank to bank
I
and
guess
just
you
keep
could take
collecting
out-
them all in one day.
Could take out a 30-year mortgage and just not really pay it.
Exactly.
Yeah, I got pretty much a very expensive truck. I could sell that.
Yeah.
But
I would
another thing
definitely
too
sell
is
a lot
like,
of
what about
stuff.
like vehicles? You think we would have to have? I think that we would need vehicles
I think we'd keep probably 2 vehicles minimum.
per.
You can collect them after the fact.
Yeah.
Those
Yeah.
will just be lying
But
around, and you're going
I
to
would
replace batteries.
I'd want to prepare 2 vehicles.
Yeah.
One for primary use, one for backup.
Armored vehicles.
Yeah, that's what
Preferably.
I mean. Like you would prepare. It that
Well,
way.
don't you think that like, it all happens? Don't you think the people who are like in the military, like they are like the closest access to all the guns and all the everything? You think that they would would the government shut down 100% to where it's like free for all, or do you think that I think the government would be the first thing to be like, hey, this is what's going down. If you want to be part of this that we're getting ready to create, like jump on this
yeah.
board.
Homeland Security is
But-
going to come in real strong and just start blasting people.
Do you okay? So they're just gonna be like creating.
Yeah,
genocide.
there's riots going on. They're just going to start blasting people.
No, I think what you're saying is like come to this area and we'll provide for you and stuff. Like the government would do that. Is what you're saying, kind of.
In a way, I'm saying that,
Like
but what I'm
provide
saying is like,
safety, food.
like how we are like saying like, oh, we're gonna do it on our own. We're gonna we got the information. We're gonna build this compound. We're gonna hope people come. We're gonna like be self-sustainable. We're gonna get our own guns. We're gonna be all by ourselves. We're gonna protect ourselves.
Yeah.
Don't you think that like the government would be the number? We would be like low totem pole compared to like the scale that they can do everything on. Like they're gonna have planes and helicopters and unlimited gas. They have unlimited money. They have unlimited everything.
Yeah, but we're not gonna be.
They have unlimited people.
We're not gonna
They're
be-
the number one people who get the followers.
If we
Yeah.
lose the power grid, though, I think they're losing a lot of their power and a lot of the realms of influence.
But what's not stopping them from stockpiling gasoline and generators?
But like to power the whole country, though.
Not the whole country. I'm talking about like you just take all like let's say
That's gonna be
like what's some
focused
of our
out
huge military bases? You know what I mean? Like take all those huge military bases and say like even one of them says like, hey, there's one leader. He goes, hey, dude, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do this, and the military is filled with followers, and they're gonna all get together, and they're gonna be like, all right, cool. Like, what do you need us to do? And this guy's gonna say, I want you to go out here and scavenge for this. And then he goes to all our little towns. They come to Fort Wayne. They knock on our door, and we're like, hey.
No,
He's just like, hey, what's up?
That's a good question.
We want this from you, and we want this, and we want this. If you give us these things, then you're good to go.
So they turn into the mafia.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a huge possibility.
I think that collapses quickly.
I don't know.
Collapses so quickly.
Oh my God, it would basically be like what we are times like 100 million.
Because they're gonna let in too many people right at the start. That's why.
Some of their bases would collapse, but some of them would
blow
To
up.
where they would
Sustain.
reach Fort Wayne, and reach us.
Well, there's a Fort Wayne. There's
I
a
don't think
military base here.
But
Not
those
that
people
big.
wouldn't report.
Right?
How do you?
Those
I mean,
people
we have a
have to-
military
what
base?
if? What if? Yeah,
I didn't know.
we have a couple military things here. Well, what if the military base here? It's like an air base.
Oh yeah. It's
National
out on
Guard.
Ferguson,
Oh yeah, there is an air base at
But
the
that's
airport.
that's different than like a full blown military
Okay,
base.
Okay, how many? I mean, people. Some people live there.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's say like then there's 300 people there already right now. They're all in the military together. You're already in a group together.
Yeah.
There are already trustworthy people there together for one common goal to protect the United States. And then the economy breaks down. They're like, hey, all you guys are fired. It's like, okay, cool. Like, what are we going to do? Well, those people are going to stay together. They're not going to be like, peace out.
They're all going to
They're
the
going to
base.
stay there. They're going to stay on that base. They're going to bring their family to that base. That base just went from 300 people to, 3,000.
That's where I think it collapses. They're all going to bring their families and think that they can sustain that without any preparation because they don't have that year.
Yeah.
They don't have that year to
But
prepare.
I don't, like I said earlier, I don't think it's going to be like,
There's
snap
no
of the
farming
finger.
on these military bases.
And they didn't have the time to prepare like we did. That's where the scenario.
They're going to be raiding parties. That's for sure. We need
I
to
think
look
at
out for
first it would work, and then it's going to quickly collapse when resources get low, and they have to feed their children, kill people,
that. They would.
and then they all turn into zombies.
No, it's not a zombie-based thing. All right, well, I think that went pretty well. I think all of us are pretty much prepared for apocalypse.
We don't have a step-by-step yet, but we have a general guideline.
Hypothetically prepared.
Yeah. Awesome. So look, we're going to take it over to Jay. He's going to lead us through minimum wage. I know that's a really big topic right now going on with Seattle raising theirs to 15 and so on and so forth. So I'll let Jay take over with that.
All right. This is a very hot topic, and honestly, I don't really know where I fall on the spectrum here, and I think my viewpoints are going to surprise a few of you here. All right, let's start here at the first question that I want to lead this conversation with is, do you think the federal government should set a minimum wage for the entire country?
No.
Absolutely. Yes. they
No.
should.
I don't think they should.
Wow. Okay. What do you think?
In my perfect world, I think that the Labor Party in a capitalist society should demand higher wages. And I think that in our society I lost my train of thought.
That has collapsed by this point. That whole Labor Party demanding better wages has collapsed.
Yeah, but the federal government has kind of taken away the unions'
The federal
number one
government-
bargaining chip. Like, what the unions do is they demand higher wages. When the federal government sets the higher wages, who goes to the unions to demand higher wages? Now the unions just basically let shitty people keep their jobs, is basically what unions
That's what
do
you
now.
know, pretty much. Well, my thing is why I don't think that the government should is because all huge corporations are going to do then is lower people's amount of hours they're going to work. They're going to like innovate to where like they don't have to have people working for them. Think of like McDonald's as an example.
Mm-hmm.
Like McDonald's doesn't need employees. They can be 100%. All fast food chains can be 100% robots or whatever. It can be.
So many jobs can just be robots.
I know, that's the
though.
thing is if the government forces a business to pay a wage, the business is going to see that as like, well, fuck you then I'm just going to get rid of all these employees, and they're fucking out there. They're good luck.
Okay.
Think like Walmart as a particular. Think of like Walmart. So like Walmart said, okay, like, yeah, we hire. They have more employees than any other business in I think the world. Not 100% positive on that, but it's pretty damn close. Okay.
Okay.
So, but they said is okay. Like, yeah, like all of our employees are not being paid properly. Like, I think they understand that. But they have profit margins. Like, they are probably stingy. I'm assuming they want to keep getting more and more and more, locations and whatever. And, like, yeah, I'm not sitting here supporting Walmart. But I'm saying, like, one thing that they did do is they said, okay, like, we're going to raise minimum wage. So, like, when a new employee, I think sometime, like, mid-2016, like, sometime soon, every Walmart employee will make $10 an hour.
Yeah.
And it's, like, planning to get better. My thing is, I think that instead of saying, hey, we're going to raise the minimum wage, we should say, hey, we're going to put more money into, like, training and more money into, like, whatever, so that these people can get skills so then they can get better jobs. Like, if you're a Walmart employee and you run a cash register, that's a basic skill. Like, yeah, it's stressful, and, like, yeah, you work a lot, and you have to have people skills, or somewhat people skills. You kind of got to be good at counting money in a way, like a small amount. But overall, like, that's a very low-skill job.
I somewhat agree with that, but I think at the same time we've given the corporation so much time to make it a fair wage. And if you just make offer incentives like training and scholarships and whatnot, we get distracted by, like, still people aren't really bettering their lives by working at this job. Walmart's drained communities.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Okay, so I think
You've been smiling for like the past 10 minutes.
I think it's crazy because, like, without a minimum wage, we would just be fucked.
I'm not saying that we don't need a minimum wage, but we don't need the government to go, oh, this is what the wage is. It's $30 an hour, and if you don't pay it, then you can't have a business.
You're exaggerating because it's not. It's $7.25 right now, which is pretty much a slave wage. You can't live on $7.25. And before the minimum wage, they paid you nothing. Practically nothing. You pretty much were a slave until the government came in and said, these people can't even live on this wage. We have to create a minimum wage. That's what the minimum wage is for, so people can live on it. If you're working full time, you shouldn't be starving in America, especially in America, the richest country in the world. So I have no problem with having a minimum wage at all.
I like having a minimum wage.
It has to be at the federal level.
Yeah.
So, like, but
23 states have gone above the federal level minimum wage and raised it because the minimum wage is not working anymore.
So the federal level should be at what the lowest level should be, or what the average level should be?
The federal level is going to be the lowest possible. So it's going to be the lowest that anybody should be getting paid for any job. That's what the federal minimum wage is.
I think, in my opinion, that it should be at a regional, like, city and county level setting minimum wage should be standard practice. Because standards of living, cost of living is different in all these different areas.
I'm not against it being different in different areas, but there should be a national minimum. Because our country,
what's wrong with it being $7.25?
Because you can't live on $7.25.
Okay.
Try to live on $7.25.
I know, but, like, that's my thing. Is like I've prepared myself skills in life to where I'll never make $7.25 again. Because when I was 16 years old or 15 years old and I got my first job, I made $7.25.
But there's a problem in that because some people didn't have the same opportunities that you had.
Like what?
Maybe you think that you didn't have the opportunities that some people had. But a lot of people didn't have two parents. A lot of people didn't have
I had one
the education
parent.
you had. A lot of people didn't ever.
I chose to go to school.
A lot of people didn't have the even thought of going to college in their mind. Was that ever, like, an issue for you? Because
well, I mean,
you
like,
went to college, you graduated.
Yeah, but my thing is like I chose to go to school. I paid my $50,000, $60,000, $70,000. I'm paying my loans right now. I chose to go to school. Like, I didn't have to go to school. I could have went and did whatever I wanted to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's a choice. I think all that's a choice. Like, if I'm a 16-year-old kid and I live in a bad area, I have one parent, I got nothing, all around me is drugs and alcohol and whatever. Like, as a child, you have a choice. Like, you can either try to make it work right then and there. Like, oh, yeah, like, I'm going to go sell drugs on the corner, or I'm going to go do whatever I need to go do to make money right now. Or you're going to suck it up. You're going to go to class. You're going to get your stupid high school degree. And then you are going to go to college because you can get loans. You can do all that and then pay it back later and suffer the consequences of going out and getting an education.
When nobody around you is sucking it up and nobody's teaching you those values, it's not going to happen.
But that's not that's still a personal choice as a human being.
You've never seen it in your life. You've never seen it. Nobody's exhibiting those
No one
values.
in my family
Nobody's
went to college.
doing that for you. But
my mom didn't go to college.
You saw peers around you doing it. You saw people in your community doing it. And it's different. Like, right now, if you're going to look at somebody in the face and say, hey, man, I think you didn't work hard enough. You're not smart enough, so I think you should starve. That's ridiculous. We live in America. It shouldn't be the case.
Solid point.
I want a living wage.
Well, what is
a living wage?
What's a living wage?
I don't think the federal government is capable of setting the living wage across the country.
Well, here's part
The
of my
living
argument.
wage in San Francisco is definitely way more than it is here in Fort Wayne.
But there's been a collapse of our unions. Our unions have gone away, so you can't fight for that living wage anymore. So the companies just set it at it's at the minimum, and they're going to pay you the minimum. And then it's only going to go up when the government fights for you, because you can no longer provide for yourself.
But
That's
if
what
they're
the
just
government is supposed to do.
If they're counting on the government to fight for you, they're not going to go to those unions. I think that was the main bargaining chip for these unions, is like they relied on them to get them a higher wage.
But at the same time, the government is killing the unions. The Republicans are killing the unions. So it's like, well, let's run to the government for help. It's like we're running to a side of the government for help.
So should we run to the unions, or should we run to the federal government to raise a minimum wage? I prefer running to the unions and getting away from the minimum wage.
I completely support unions too, but we got to build the unions back up, and that's not going to happen without the government's help.
I don't think we can do both. I don't think we can raise the minimum wage and go back to unions demanding higher wages. I think they contradict each other, because when I started my job at Kroger, I was a bagger there for the longest time. The union was coming in, they said, we're going to get you this higher wage. And everybody's like, yes, I would like that higher wage, please. And so like during this process, the federal government actually raised the minimum wage to what the union was promising, minus 10 cents. So that like took away all of our incentive to join this union.
Okay.
And that happens like a lot.
Yeah, so if you're relying on the federal government to give you that wage, you're not going to those unions, and the unions are losing a lot of the power. They don't have that bargaining chip anymore.
The unions have given up a lot of their power anyways.
It's a battle. Like, the capitalist class does not want unions to exist because that drives up wages. But I think if we're sticking with this, like the battle cry being the minimum wage is taken away from what could really provide the biggest gains for the labor class is unions, and just combining together as the labor force and demanding better wages.
Well, I think if the federal government completely stepped out and said there's no more federal minimum wage anymore, you would quickly see that companies are just going to fuck you.
It would go bad at first, but then,
then
you would go back to, like, I think people
it
would go back.
But
So like earlier,
that's the thing though. Like, do you want to live in the era where that happens and you have to live for that 10, 15, 20 years where you're shit out of luck if you grew up in that era where the federal government said, fuck it, we're going to leave it to the free market, and you have to suffer through this until they finally figure it out and create labor unions again and build it back up?
it would suck. You would like this is very extreme, like what you guys are talking about. So like that would suck. Like I would go with like that would suck. But also like you could sit back and say like you're part of like that world history.
You fought for something that
You fought
mattered.
for something that mattered.
I think
You
yeah.
sacrificed.
I think it comes back to the argument you were making about robots. Robots are going to take your job. Everything is going to be automated eventually. Almost nothing anybody does can't be done by a fucking robot. So I think we should start looking at basic income. Your job is taken.
Oh.
People aren't going to be able to work forever. Everybody's job is going to be occupied by a
Talk
robot
about
eventually.
a nasty transition, though. How do you transition into basic income?
Because I'm for federal minimum wage being raised, and I'm for a basic income.
Here's my
eventually.
question. Here's my thing for you though. Is like, so let's say like right now it's $7.25. Okay, like what are they saying? Like in like 2 years it's gonna be like $9.
No, it hasn't. Nothing.
They don't have any plans. San Francisco in 2008 is going to be $15.
2018, it'll be. It's
Okay,
incrementally
let's say this. Like, it's not going to go up a lot. So let's just say it goes up to 9. Let's say if the government today said, "Hey, we're going to make minimum wage $9 an hour," how would you feel about that?
I would feel fantastic.
You would feel fantastic, but do you want to know like the overall picture of that? That's like $3,000 a year.
Yeah.
And then you say like nothing.
I think it's a step.
What?
It's a step forward.
It means nothing.
It means nothing to you.
It means
because
nothing
you
to
make more than
it
that.
Means nothing.
It means a lot to a lot of people. Millions
that's
of
not
Americans.
changing someone's life. $3,000 isn't changing someone's life from being starved.
$3,000 is like 20%, or not even. Okay, not 20%. Like 15% of somebody's salary. That's living on $7.25 a year.
I'm just saying, like, I don't think it, like your argument would be like, yeah, something's better than nothing.
Are you not happy if with a 15% pay?
I mean, like,
boost?
yeah, that'd be cool, I guess. But I'm just
Yeah,
saying, like, it's not to the big picture though. Like, that's not taking you to like, it's not taking you like to the next step of like life. Like, you know, if you're making $14,000 a year or $15,000 a year, and you go up to $18,000 a year, you're still fucking poor.
Yeah, no.
It doesn't matter. You're still fucking poor.
I'm not arguing that. The federal minimum wage was never supposed to be like a promotion when we up it. It's just supposed to be a living wage.
So are we looking at the big picture eventually leads to basic income or basically
What the hell is this basic
income is when robots do most of the work and every citizen receives a basic income and then works at their own leisure.
Because they can't work anymore because robots take over other jobs.
Well, where's all the money? Who's creating the money?
The robots.
Well, what?
The robots provide for everybody. All the food, everything.
So it's like every single human being in the world makes X amount of dollars a year?
Yep.
Oh, God.
Basic income.
There's no way that would ever
It's
work.
going to happen.
You're-
It has to happen.
There's no way.
if you look at globalization,
Then what is going to happen to all the people who don't have jobs? Because robots took all their jobs.
Then they're just going to find other jobs.
There's no... robots are going to take those jobs. There's no jobs to
there's
find.
no way.
look at the way that,
Like, are you talking about like 100 years from now? Like,
No, I don't think it's that far in the future.
you could make a robot to do pretty much.
I mean, I
every
understand
job.
that you can have a robot do everything, but the thing is like, that just takes, that's like, okay, if I'm a business owner, so like, okay, like I own a window washing business, and I just create a robot to wash the windows, and then I don't pay any employees, like, I mean, like, yeah, like I'm going to be so, like, every single human being is just going to be so selfish that they're just going to create robots for everything, and then all these people are just going to be roaming the streets.
Just
doing
do what
whatever.
you want at that point. Like,
I mean,
you
it would
get-
be like the humans are just there to be there now, and the robots do all the
Yeah,
work.
you don't live to work anymore. You just you can eat when you like. You eat your 3 square, and then you just do what you want with the rest of your day.
So another way that might make
You'd be
it more
so obese, it'd be stupid.
One way that
Netflix would murder everybody.
that might make it more clear is one way I've heard it is people would have to buy their own robots. And those robots, I don't ever see that happening though. And robots would go to work for you or something, but that's not going to happen. I think companies are going to buy robots and they're just going to do your job for you.
So what's the benefit of owning a business then?
You don't.
Yeah.
This
I mean,
is so off topic from minimum wage,
government-
by the way, but I like where we're going.
It's like, well, I think it factors in though because that's how we have to plan for our society. Is
There's so like if I'm a business owner now, let's say like I'm fucking like a billionaire. I own a bunch of businesses, okay, and I have a couple thousand employees. Well, I guess if I'm a billionaire, I probably have way more than a couple thousand employees.
we'll call them 16,000 employees.
Sure, I got 16,000 employees currently right now, okay? So, say I go, I'm going to make an investment in my company, all right? So, I'm the first one that does this. I'm going to fucking fire all 16,000 employees,
bold move.
okay? Just listen. And I'm going to build, or I'm going to have built, whatever, however many fucking robots I need to do the job of my 16,000 employees, which most likely is way less than 16,000 robots.
There's nothing the government could do or anybody could do to stop you.
All right, but I'm just saying. So then I go, okay, but I'm making way more money now, and all of my 16,000 employees, I'm gonna give them $500 a week.
What's it, your robots?
No, my employees I just fired.
Why
They
would
can
you,
just
why
go-
would you give them money?
They can
They're
go do
fired.
it. That's what you're
So
saying. That's
so
what
you-
base income is.
No.
Like I hire robots to do the job, and then I give all the
No,
people
no,
who
no.
used to have a job $500 a
No,
week.
you as a company isn't giving the basic income. The government is giving that basic income, provided by taxes from that.
So why
company.
doesn't the robot own the company then? Like, what's
robot
what's the point of
No,
the person?
the robot company pays in taxes that go to basic income, and then that company is vying for people to buy their product with that basic income.
People won't. I mean, like, how many things are people going to be needing once they're not doing anything?
A lot of things.
Why would you need stuff now and you still and you do stuff?
I'd
Why
do
would
way
you need
more
stuff
things.
after?
The kite sales would go up. People would be buying a lot more cakes. There'd be a lot more video
A
games
lot
being
more
sold.
leisurely activities happening.
Couches
suppose.
would go up a lot.
I've even seen. I read an article that was saying
Mattress sales would go through the roof.
that was saying no job is safe from the robot. There's like works of art. You think beautiful art is only able to be created by humans? No, robots can fucking make it.
They have a program now that says whether a song will be a hit on the radio. It's an old program. You put a song in this program, it'll tell you whether people are gonna like it.
Just based off data, like collected
Yeah, just data. Like it just listens to the song, and goes, all right, yeah, people are gonna like that. And sometimes songs break it, and they go, oh, we don't know whether people are gonna like it or not. But
Yeah,
that's super strange to me.
robots are
I've never ever
gonna
thought
take
about the basic income. What's it called?
basic income.
yeah, people have been talking about it for a while.
What do you? I mean, so like,
I mean, it's not a
so
new idea.
so
but
my thing would be like this: would each town be its own little like?
I think it would kind of.
just so
I think it would
confused.
kind of be like the minimum wage because you would have a federal minimum basic income.
But what if I want more money? Like as a human being, like
then
what
you
if
can do more?
like
you
what? Can I go get? I can't go get a job because there's all these fucking robots.
Well, what do you think? Like, you can go
And create a better robot.
do carpentry. You can create art. You can do all these things that you can do now to make more money if you want more money.
Some people might pay you part of their basic income to come and
Clean their house. Or
clean
some
their house, or
bullshit.
like come tell them a joke, or like you
Tell them a joke.
Be a comedian.
You're
do these
a
things.
funny freaking guy.
There's a lot of stuff that would be people would still pay for that human to do, but
So like,
robots are doing the main job.
so like I'm a bartender and I feel like I'm pretty good at it.
Robot could definitely take
Okay, so a robot could take my job, all right? But I bet the person would pay for me to come
Yeah,
and entertain them.
absolutely.
Because I would say almost when I make the most money is when it's like a slow night and I have a customer come, sits down by himself. You know, he's like, hey, can I watch, whatever. Oh, I want to watch the Cleveland. I guess the playoffs are happening, so I want to watch Cleveland, Toronto, or whatever. And I was like, yeah, for sure. And then I just sit there and I just talk shit with this dude for 30 fucking minutes to an hour, whatever. And like his bill's $20, and he throws me like a 20. He's like, dude, like thanks for hanging out with me. Like you're fucking awesome. And then he leaves. He goes on his way.
Yeah,
a robot. What the fuck's a robot? There's no emotion in a robot. He's gonna be like, yeah, beep, 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 yeah, Toronto, beep. You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Dude's not gonna be like, oh, let me give an extra $20 to this cat because I like this robot.
That's why in this situation, prostitution is going to become the number one
Oh,
thing that people are going to do.
definitely.
That human interaction, you just can't replicate it.
I think,
And that's why I think that certain jobs, like, I don't think a robot has ever taken
yeah, I
bartending
think you
job
create
away.
a good point there, but there are
Never.
other bartenders like at clubs and shit where they give you shitty service and shit like
Yeah,
that.
you just
They're
give them
getting
$3,
replaced.
you get a drink back. Some people want
They're
that.
getting replaced. But like easily you could open up a bar and just be like, hey, it's only humans serving you. And then bam, you got people coming in there spending their basic
I
income.
wonder what an alcohol permit, or alcohol license cost when everything's robots. Holy shit.
Well, you got to think.
Well, if I'm only making X amount of dollars a year, it's probably gonna be pretty cheap.
I think there's
Yeah.
gonna be more people smoking and drinking than ever.
Be
You don't
happy,
have jobs.
man. It'd be pretty.
Yeah.
It'll be a pretty jolly civilization.
So when it all comes down to is this. So we got super off topic on minimum
Yeah,
wage. All right. So I want to get back to it just real quick. I want to touch base kind of with what everyone was kind of saying. So Cody's argument is
Yeah, we should have a living wage. And I think like Bernie Sanders wants $15 an hour. And I think he started with $15 an hour for the national minimum wage because he knows that is not going to happen. And that's smart tactics. When you go to buy something, you don't start with what you really want it to be, or like when you sell something, you don't start with what you really want. You start above it, and it's going to get dropped down. It's probably going to be like $12 national minimum wage, and that's a smart tactic to use because the minimum wage, in my eyes, needs to be a living wage. You need to be able to survive on a minimum wage, and that's kind of where I'm at on it.
all right, Jay.
I'm
go.
all across the board on this. I prefer to think of the minimum wage as being a city and regional thing so that it corresponds to cost of living. I think that the federal minimum wage should just be like they would look at what the bare minimum is in like the bare minimum area, like the lowest cost of living area, and set it at that.
Okay.
I would be in favor of
Can I
that.
jump back in on that?
Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say like I wrote a few things down. So like in 2009, our minimum wage went up from I think like 5.20 was it 5.15 or 5.25, something like
Just
that.
$7.25.
It went up to 7.25 in 2009. Since then, that 725 has lost 8.1% of its purchasing power. The minimum wage is supposed to be correlated with the rise of inflation. So raising it is not raising it past that. It's raising it to where it meets where inflation already is right now, where the buying power is the same as inflation. And so that 725 in 2009 is the same as whatever probably $12 is right now.
But then we've also heard it argued that raising the minimum wage causes this inflation. You have higher prices to produce products, so you raise the prices.
Well, like some article that I was reading earlier was mainly about how, like, it was mainly about large corporations. So, like, a corporation has, like, a budget that it can pay its employees because that needs to make a certain profit margin or whatever. So, like, I'm thinking what it would do, say minimum wage went up. What they would do is they would find a way or to innovate, to add more robots so they could hire less employees, or they would cut the employees down to where there's not as many employees or whatever, or they work lower hours. Mm-hmm. So, like, realistically, like, let's say you're making $10 an hour and you're working 40 hours a week, okay? Whatever, $400. And then they raise it to $15. Well, then they're going to cut your hours down to where you only work 30, so you're still only making $400.
Yeah. I think that's
But then that would give you 10 extra hours to maybe find another job or whatever. But overall, earlier, like what you were saying is like, because at one point in my life, I was making about $800 a month. Okay, I was a full-time college student. I lived out on my own, and I lived in kind of I had to have roommates and stuff. All right, I had a car that was paid for when I was younger. I bought it myself, like a cheap car, whatever. Let's say it cost me $3,000. I saved up money and bought it. Paid for all my groceries, and I bought whatever I wanted to buy, alcohol or whatever. I couldn't buy like expensive stuff. You know what I mean? I couldn't go out or whatever. Like say my tires popped on my car, like I would be fucked. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like I live like literally like paycheck to paycheck. But like earlier you were talking about how like, oh well, you don't really know. Well, the thing is like I do know because I had no money at one point in my life, but I made it work. And then I grew up, and here's my thing is, I went from that and I realized that I don't want to be like this. This isn't where I want to be. Yeah. I don't want to make, $800, $1,100, $1,500 a month. Like, I want to make $1,500 a week, or $1,200 a week, or whatever.
He's not saying you didn't struggle. He's saying, like, these people, a lot of people, don't see that that's a path that they can take.
Yeah, I'm not saying that you didn't struggle. I'm saying some people don't have the support system that you may have had. Or have the people in their lives that teach you the values that you have now to make you want more than that.
Well, I don't think that was on me, though. That was on me. I was by myself.
Yeah.
It was on you, but we also...
if you grew up in a cage and then they just released you one day and you're just like, wow, I'm going to be... Didn't ever have education, didn't ever have these things where people told you things and stuff like that. You're just going to be like, pick up your bootstraps, bro. Like, no.
It's different. Like, we can't judge people and not be in their culture and not being in that environment they're in. We just have to do what we can to boost people up. And I think that should be the goal of our whole society.
Which I'm not against, because like earlier you're bringing up Bernie Sanders and stuff, and I want more for more people. Like me and Jay, we own a business together, and like my dad has like struggled pretty much his whole entire life with like alcoholism and stuff, and like I see an opportunity for him to grow with us, mm-hmm. and to just grow financially. Like he works like paycheck to paycheck, or whatever. And I said, hey, like, do you want to work for us? Like I'll pay you a good wage, and I'll pay you mileage and all this stuff. And then like something happened to where it failed, but just in general though, like I would prefer to have employees. I would like to have employees. Like, yeah, I want to make money, but like overall, like I have a goal in my mind of how much money I think that I deserve, and then I would love to have enough money to where I can do the same thing for you. Like if you wanted to make X amount of dollars and I made way more than you, and I gave you a job that made your dream come true, like that would make me feel like fucking amazing.
Yeah, but that goes in, okay, that I feel like that sort of goes into what I'm saying, because do you think that Walmart can't do that for the employees? Do you think that they can't? They were pressured into giving their employees more money at $10 an hour. And that's kind of a cop-out, because Costco pays their starting employees $13 an hour for years now.
But you know that Costco also has a membership
where they make most of their money.
Where they make almost all their money from a membership fee.
But But
What if
What
Walmart
are the
changed to a membership fee? Then
what are
nobody
the-
would go to Walmart.
no, because what are the profit margins of fucking Walmart? It's one of the most profitable
Oh, yeah,
companies in the
100%.
world. So you're thinking, well, all these rich people are making all this money off of it. They can't have it trickle down a little bit? That's where the companies are fucking you. And they want the argument to go against, well, if the minimum wage is raised, then my wage isn't as important anymore. So since I make more money and people are making more money, I'm not making as much money as these people. It's pitting the lower class against the middle class, while the rich people make all the money.
Yeah. Which
Like,
that does frustrate me.
It goes
Good
into
summary of the whole thing. I really think that was.
it goes into wealth inequality, because I want to just not to jump
Tie
on
it
that
in.
whole-
Tie
but
it
it
in.
ties into wealth inequality, and it's the biggest gap it's ever been at. And I just watched a thing today where it was saying it's more than it was in the 20s. What happened after the 20s? We had the Great Depression. So I mean, it's just like we need to see that these things are happening. Shit, our fucking hypothetical economic collapse could be happening right now.
Yeah. All right, and also this extreme greed is going to lead us into our next category with the most outrageous purchases in history, which I think you all are going to be entertained by, and Chase is going to lead the conversation with.
Alrighty. Now we are going to be talking about a top 5 most outrageous purchases. And like I said earlier, that can be anything from a rich man buying something ridiculous or a poor man finding the perfect deal. I'm going to start off with my number 5, Kevin Lipton. No one knows who he is. He's a coin collector. And he bought a fucking penny that cost $2.5 million.
He paid 2.5.
He paid $2.5 million for a penny.
Why?
Which penny?
What? Why?
The number 10 penny in the whole entire world.
Is it? What's it worth though?
It's worth 2.5. That's what it's worth. That's what he paid.
Now it is.
Is it-
but
It's
what's
probably worth more than that,
It's a-
supposedly.
so it is-
What he's saying is it's worth. He said that it was a deal. He got this is a steal for this penny. It's a. I wish I could show you pictures. It's a 1792 penny. So when money was first being created, this was 10 pennies and 10 whatever were created, and this one's mint condition. Mint. You can see everything on it. It's like perfect shape.
Holy shit.
That might be a deal, man.
Yeah.
So this guy, he's bought a lot of things. Like he has like a $2 million quarter. Like he has a lot. Like this guy's like, I'm pretty sure he has a TV show. I don't know. I tried to look up some information about him. I couldn't figure everything out. But he's a coin collector. He's been collecting coins his whole entire life. In the interview that I watched, he's wearing pink gator shoes. So this guy means business.
He's got
Hold up.
swag.
He knows his shit then, though.
100% knows his shit.
All right, that's.
But is he planning on
that's
selling
not
all
that
these
outrageous.
coins?
That is so outrageous. It's a penny. It's worth 1
If
cent.
he knows his shit, then it's
But
worth
think
it.
about it as a penny, though.
$2.5 million
it's
for
crazy.
a penny.
It's
Yeah.
crazy.
It's $2.5 million for a
But,
penny, man.
I mean,
Yeah.
if it's worth it.
That's a good starter. That is a great starter. I'm going to come at you with my number 5, which is a Tibetan Mastiff puppy bought in China for $2 million.
Oh, I know about those. I watched a whole
It
documentary
is-
about those.
It is an extremely cute puppy, or it's a dog that turns into this awesome
Never heard
creature, and somebody bought it for $2 million.
So basically, in China, about that information is in China they like this puppy that he's talking about. There's all these dogs, and like they have these like shows where they like show them off, kind of like here. There's like the dog show and stuff, but overall there it's like way bigger scale, and it's usually like the same breed of dog, which is like this one, where like huge rich people will like have someone like combs their hair and take like they have like caretakers, and like it's like the horses for the horse races here in a way, but way more expensive.
So it's an investment.
100%.
But it's gonna die.
But it's still a puppy that's going to live to be 13 to 14 years old, and you bought it for $2 million, and you're probably not going to really cuddle with it all that much. If
Dude,
it's
have you
just gonna
seen
put
one?
it in- yeah, I've seen them. They're awesome.
You should cuddle.
Tibetan Mastiffs, I would cuddle with them big time if I had one.
All right, I'll jump into my 5. Mine's actually not a purchase, but it's like an outrageous like attempt.
Okay.
So, an Australian man tried to sell New Zealand on eBay. And it got up to $3,000 and had like 30 something bids on it before it got taken down. And I just thought that was hilarious that people were like actually bidding on it to buy it. Like, what if it went all the way through and you just like bought New Zealand on eBay?
Well, if you show up with a receipt, what are people gonna do? Like, you have a receipt. Like, what can you do then?
I own you now.
Somebody sold the Brooklyn Bridge to somebody before, and he had no authority to do so. That's like the same type of thing right there.
All right, well, this is not my number 4, but I'm going to talk about it now because it goes with this. It's actually going to be my number 2.
Okay.
But Larry Ellison, pretty sure that's how you say his name, he was the CEO of Oracle for a long time. He's like super billionaire, like $50 billion, okay?
Yeah, Oracle's huge.
This dude buys all kinds of things, like ridiculous things, like cities and towns and whatever. He bought a fucking island in Hawaii. It's like the 5th biggest island, okay? This guy owns 97% of the whole island. On the island, there's only one town, all right? He owns 2/3 of everything on the town.
Holy
So
shit.
if you have a house, if you had a house on there, 2/3 of it's owned by this guy.
I would be pissed off.
Everything there. I think there's only, from what I read, there's 3 things that aren't owned by him, and they don't pay him rent.
That's gotta be a pretty big island too.
I'm not sure the
Hawaiian
large.
islands aren't that small.
I'm not sure of how big it is, but I mean, I'm assuming it's not small or anything.
Yeah.
There's only 3 things. There's an airport, like a gas station, and a coffee shop that doesn't pay him any money, doesn't pay him rent or nothing. Like, they just have their businesses there. But everything else, like if you own a house there, like you pay him rent. You pay this guy rent and everything.
How much was it? Did he pay?
How much did he pay for it? I don't know. I guess I didn't really look that up.
Just buying an island's pretty outrageous.
I think it was like 500 million, maybe.
Damn. So he just bought it with people living there and all the shit.
Yeah, it was like I wouldn't say, I don't know, I'm not sure the year it was either, but it was like he bought it. It's called, I don't know, Lanai, Hawaii. I'm not really good with Lani Hawaii.
Lanai.
Lanai Hawaii.
Yeah,
Yeah, he owns 97% of the whole island.
that's crazy.
So-
Interesting. Okay.
But he owns a bunch of shit. This dude buys
Wait.
all kinds of crazy things.
So that was your number 2?
That was my number 2. I just wanted to bring it up because you brought up the fact that someone tried buying an island, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, they tied into each other. Well, mine almost kind of ties into it, like ocean stuff. So Hawaii's in an ocean.
There you go.
Beluga caviar is $2,000 per kilo, which is basically just like you can fit it in the palm of your hand. It's just eggs that you're buying.
Caviar is very expensive.
Caviar is
in general.
like it's most like I googled most expensive food and that came up number 1 thing, and I have tried caviar a little bit.
Like, you can buy caviar somewhat relatively cheap, like at grocery stores and stuff. Like, it's usually like you get maybe like a half an ounce, and it's like $6.
That's shit caviar.
Yeah,
That's like
you're not
shitty
trying that beluga caviar, which is $5,000 per kilo.
Oh.
You haven't tried it
That
yet.
breaks down to like
That's like cocaine numbers.
Yeah.
$1,000 of freaking egg.
Yeah, you better get high and get a boner off of this caviar. But yeah, like that's the most expensive food I could find.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive.
Alright. My number 4 is Golden Casino bought the Virgin Mary grilled cheese for $28,000.
Huh?
You remember like the big craze about the grilled cheese that had Virgin Mary's face on it?
I do remember
No.
that. Yes.
They bought it for $28,000.
Who bought it?
Casino, Golden Casino. Bought
People will come check that out.
it. Yeah, I actually didn't think it was out. Like, it's funny.
Oh, they use it as like a tourist attraction?
Yeah.
Is it still there right now?
I'm guessing. Why else would they buy it? Unless they ate it. I don't know.
Yeah, think a
But it's-
casino has a lot of disposable income.
But it's just a weird purchase to make. Like, out
Very
of nowhere,
outrageous.
I'm just gonna buy this grilled cheese.
Okay, well, why were you thinking that we were all gonna have the same purchases at the beginning of this conversation?
I mean,
Who was gonna throw in the grilled cheese?
You said outrageous. I didn't know they were gonna be like.
Oh, dude.
At first, before you explained it, I thought it was gonna be like Louisiana purchase. That's a great purchase. You know, like shit like that.
Honestly, if one of us has the same one, I'll be surprised.
Okay.
All right, so then I'll go to my number 4 because earlier I said 2, right? Yeah, okay. So the super rich billionaire Indian guy has a $1 billion house. Yeah, hold your finger up. $1 billion.
Does he have laser sharks?
I mean, probably. There's like 6 helicopter pads.
Holy shit.
I mean, it's ridiculous.
How do you
even make a house that expensive. Like,
No,
how?
so here's
Is it
everything
the Taj
I read.
Mahal?
Tell us how.
So from what I read, is his wife is a huge like lover of like architecture and stuff, and she came to the United States, and she was in New York, and she was like looking at all the skyscrapers and everything, and she fell in love with like how tall everything was, and how big and how scouring, like how powerful like height was in general.
Oh,
So she
yeah.
went home
The
to her husband.
Dick wasn't doing it for her.
She went home to her husband. It doesn't. This dude's made $23 billion last year.
You
It doesn't.
can't get somebody off with just a bank account statement.
Oh yes, you can. That adds like 16 inches to your cock.
No, it don't.
Yeah,
There's
it
no
does.
way he made 23 billion last
Dude,
year.
I'm almost positive. I read it earlier. I'm not even kidding.
I want to
He's the
Google
number
challenge
one-
that. There's
He's
no
the
way.
number one.
Google challenge.
Google challenge it, man.
No, his net worth is 21.
No, it's way more than that. It's like in the 50s.
Boom.
No, that's on Wikipedia.
Net worth from Forbes. 21.3 billion.
No, it's more
If he
than
made
that.
23 billion last year, he'd be richer than Bill Gates.
Dude, he was the number one person like an increase of income.
Then he made it all last year, but that's still not 23 billion.
Look
it's
up.
21.
Look him up again. Do a little more searching, bro.
Yeah, you gotta go up.
Forbes. I'm going straight to Forbes
I'm
because that's
going
where
back to Forbes.
I'm going Forbes.
Is it a recent article though?
I mean, it's Forbes. He's real-time net worth. Real-time net worth is 20.7. 57.
Then where was I reading earlier then?
Oil and gas. India. Married. 3 children. Bachelor of Science.
There's
It's
the
a
house.
bachelor's degree.
Here's the house, by the way.
That's
Dude,
worth $1 billion.
$1 billion.
Holy shit. All right, so let's
He's
snap back.
he's the number one richest person in India.
I know, but I want to know.
Oh wait. Hold up.
Yeah, hold on. I want to know.
Yeah, there's no way that the number one richest
Says-
person.
Has retained his position as India's richest person despite shares of his oil and gas giant Reliance Industries taking a hit during the lower oil prices. The 62.2 billion revenues firm is likely to resume buying crude oil from Iran after the lifting of sanctions. So he's worth $20 billion.
This dude.
If he made
Company might have made 23
Yeah,
billion.
if he was worth 23 billion in 1 year, we would have heard about it.
God, I wish I would have kept that. It's all at home. There was a thing that said him and his brother. There's two people, and it said that he's like the 5th richest person, and his brother's the 6th richest person, or something like that.
By the way, we're still recording.
I know.
Yeah.
And he said that I can't
I'm gonna
fucking
pop a
remember.
beer in this
It
last.
said it said like $22.6 billion was like made, like it was the most money made that year.
Okay. But yeah, I mean, Bill Gates is worth what?
The way all these people
What is Bill
hide their
Gates
money.
worth? 60 billion?
60 billion, I'm pretty sure.
Somewhere around there.
Yeah, because Donald Trump's like 3 billion, or whatever, and like sneezing at him.
Yeah.
When's Bill Gates gonna run for president?
Oh, dude, I would vote for Bill Gates in a heartbeat. Dude's a genius. He's a little shady on some things.
He's a
but-
little shady, bro.
But I mean, dude,
Yeah, like, you don't get
the
to that
last
point.
10 years of his life have been nothing but non-profit trying to bring.
Yeah, but like there's been a little like backing, like him sneaking these.
How he got rich is shady.
Yeah.
Because he stole shit.
Damn it, man! I'm super pissed that didn't come my way.
All right, so here's what.
Okay.
Like we're gonna snap back into it. I'm gonna come back in. All right, back into the podcast. We just had a Google challenge, which is unique to this podcast, where if somebody says something on the podcast that can be challenged through Google, we stop, we Google it, and we find out who is really telling the truth.
Well, I fucking lost,
Chase lost the first Google challenge of.
but I'm
the
not
man.
gonna lose 100%.
Yeah, Chase is good at this stuff, but Cody wins the first one.
All I know
So-
is I'm going home and I'm looking that thing up and I'm sending you the article.
You said he made 23 billion in 1 year.
I'm telling you,
Not
dude.
happening.
I'm telling you, man. I'm gonna show you the
You
article.
would've heard about
I'm
it.
sending you the article. I
All right,
promise.
Chase, it's dead. It's done. He didn't.
Dead.
He did, but he still might have bought a house for $1 billion.
He
Uh,
did. It's definitely
well,
did.
I'm not challenging that.
All right, we're not Google challenging that.
Dude,
but
that's
he
$1
bought
billion house, man.
I mean, he's
this
worth-
guy doesn't care about money.
Said
at
he's
this
worth
point.
21 billion, so that's a drop in the bucket.
All right, we're gonna roll around to Jaybirds' next one, which is a tequila lay .925 that is worth $3.5 million.
Is that a tequila like
Yeah,
a drink?
they put diamonds into it. There's diamonds on the bottle. This company made this tequila, and they're like, oh yeah, this thing's for sale. But nobody's bought it. Nobody's ever tasted it. They don't know what this thing's about.
So nobody's ever bought it.
Yeah, it has. I guess it hasn't been purchased, but it's like an attempted purchase, like what Cody introduced earlier. A tequila.
So the company still has it.
The company still has it.
How rich is this company
What company is
to
it?
be able to make that and just not sell it?
You know, I didn't write that down, but there are
That's just a marketing ploy.
6,400 diamonds inside of the bottle.
Jesus Christ.
I know,
That's a
right?
good marketing scheme.
Could you imagine getting just like fucked up on this thing and then waking up in the morning like I'm about to poop 6,400 diamonds?
Or waking up and going, oh no, I spent $9 million last night.
But if you're worth $22 billion, what's $9 million?
Yeah, that's true. That's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah. That's a potential outrageous purchase. As soon as somebody buys this, we're gonna come back and update the podcast.
For sure. Alright, my number 3 is, it's actually what we talked about in our last podcast. A mystery buyer bought the window where Lee Harvey Oswald supposedly shot out of for $3 billion. They don't know who it was who bought it.
How much?
Oh, they do know who it was. It was the guy that owns the
Huh?
school book depository. He has it in his house.
He sold it. He sold it.
He sold it.
How much?
$3 million.
Oh, I was like, billion. What?
Sorry if I said billion.
Yeah.
$1 million to somebody, and I guess it sparked a whole lot of other controversy saying that that window had been replaced since then or stolen, and that's not the original window. So this person may have just bought a window for $3 million.
No, this dude, the guy that owned the school book depository, he took it out. He was part of the group that I think was in the know about all of it. Go back and check the other podcast. He relished in the fact that his school book depository was part of the JFK assassination. He sliced those windows off. He's like, I want those in my house, and he had them on display from a few years after.
That's
Crazy.
pretty wild. All right, so this will be my number 3. Mine are mixed up. So I'm not sure if you guys know who Kim Basinger is. Anyone?
No.
The actress?
The actress.
Okay.
Okay, you ready for this? This is a real thing.
What's she starring?
Batman, like in '89
Yeah,
Batman.
she's a tall blonde.
Oh, okay, I don't know.
She plays in a bunch of. She's like a big famous actress. So her current net worth right now is $36 million. Like that's today. Okay.
Okay.
She's 59 actually. All right. But back in 1989, she bought a fucking town.
Yeah, I did read about this. Yes.
Did you? Is this one of
No,
yours?
it's not on my list, but I
All
read
right.
about
She
it.
bought a town in 1989 for $20 million. Her and some investors bought a town. Okay, to say, I want to, because she's from Georgia. She wanted to make it a tourist attraction. So her and investors bought the town for $20 million. They invested money in the town to make it like this tourist thing. They said like, we're gonna build like, people are gonna come here to like record movies and things like kind of the way like Atlanta is now and like LA and stuff. Well, anyway,
That didn't work out.
couple years later, she realizes like, oh god, like no, it's not gonna go my way, and they end up selling the town in 1993 for $1 million.
What? Oh, damn.
So
She
they
lost that
lost like 25 million, probably more than that. In
So
this,
she did one movie for free.
much. Shit.
Which movie?
I don't know.
Which movie did she do for
So
free?
for some reason now she still has $36 million. So I don't know how much money she's made. I mean, it must be ridiculous.
Money makes money.
Fuck.
Like that's what.
I
That's
mean,
the
like,
gist of this whole thing is money makes money. These people do
Unless
outrageous.
you're my
stupid-
number 1, and then you don't make that much money, but you
Don't
still
get
have
into it
enough
yet.
money.
Foreshadowing.
Not
I hope
yet.
you guys are all intrigued. All right, we're getting into Jaber's number 2. So there's a myth going around that the Dutch bought Manhattan for $24 worth of beads. Have you guys all heard this?
No.
It's been talked about. Like I've heard people say, "Oh yeah, the Native Americans are so stupid. They'll sell their land for beads. They don't value beads." Like this is a theory that I heard, so I looked it up. What turns out had happened was that the Dutch group did actually buy Manhattan from a group of Native Americans but it wasn't beads. It was just like cooking supplies, pelts, things that like Native Americans could use. So like, yes, we just got a super deal. What it turns out had happened was they were buying Manhattan from a group that was not even part of Manhattan. They bought Manhattan from a group from the Bronx. And they don't even... Like, they had to contest it later. They had to buy Manhattan twice.
What?
Yeah. So what they thought was a super deal, Manhattan, New York City, is worth a lot of money in this day and age.
Oh my god.
Or a lot of beads.
Or a lot of beads. It wasn't beads. It was cooking supplies, pelts, like pans and stuff like that. They thought they were getting a super good deal. They didn't. They had to buy it twice.
Huh.
Yep.
That's a crazy purchase.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. My number 2 is a little bit lower on the scale of purchases, I suppose. But somebody bought William Shatner's kidney stone for $25,000.
Shit. You're a liar.
$25,000. 2006. Google challenge me, bro.
No, I'm not gonna Google challenge you.
Google challenge. You can Google somebody and then not.
I'm not Googling it. I swear to God, I'm not. I'm on my thing. But I'm just saying, like, that's ridiculous. Like, there's no way. Like, someone spent that much money. That's like Bono. Bono lost a hat, and like a hotel is his favorite hat, and he paid $1,700 first class to get it. Like, he paid for a seat in an airplane, first class, so he had a seat to sit in.
Yeah.
Okay.
For his hat.
For a hat.
Holy shit.
$1,700. That's like, that reminds me of that. It's like, what the hell, man?
Who is going on eBay and buying William Shatner's kidney stone and has 25?
That means someone
William,
Googled, like, someone had to type that in, like, William Shatner, and then they're
Yeah.
like, what's he selling? Oh my god, a kidney stone? I need that.
That's not just something you
I
randomly
need that in
hear
a jar.
about.
That's a very intimate item, though. If like you're looking, he's your favorite,
I get.
that's something you're gonna want to have. Like if I have like a person I'm obsessed with,
Well,
I'm gonna want something that's
You want
inside
the
of their
kidney
body.
stone?
I got a guy
Came
who
out
I'm
of a
kind of
dick.
obsessed with, and I don't think I'd buy his kidney stone.
But you don't have that type of money.
I don't think Bill
If you had
Romanowski's
fuck
kidney
it-
stone would
if you had
cost
fuck it
$25,000.
money- What if Arnold Schwarzenegger's kidney stone?
I don't like Arnold Schwarzenegger enough to spend $25,000.
Oh, okay. thought
I
you
don't
did.
like anyone enough to spend $25,000.
But because you don't have that type of money.
If I had
If you're
unlimited,
billionaire money?
no, I wouldn't. Why would I want a kidney stone? No.
Because you're bored. You have nothing to do all day.
That's like when you watch the Michael Jackson documentary like a really long time ago when that one dude like went through his house and like hung out with him for like a week. It was all on ABC for a while to like show that Michael Jackson's not a child molester. Pretty much is what the show was about. And they were like going to this art museum and Michael's like, oh, I want this, and I want this, and I want this, and he spends like $30,000. The guy's like, why are you spending this money? Like, what are you doing? He's like, well, why not? You know, I'm bored.
Yeah.
You know, I want all these things.
What else would I do?
Yeah, what else would I do? It's so wild. All right, cool. So my number 1 of all time, most outrageous purchase, Evander Holyfield. Okay, and the reason why I think it's outrageous is it's one human being. He's not married. Nothing. Evander Holyfield buys a house with 109 rooms in it. 21 bathrooms. Has the world's, I think it's the world's, might be the United States, largest indoor pool. It's like 350 gallons. It's like an Olympic swim laps in. Okay. He has another pool too, a separate pool, or like a jacuzzi, that's shaped as a boxing glove inside of it.
Yeah.
All right.
Christ.
It costs $1 million a year to maintain. That's
So
how,
he doesn't still have it.
and it had a 3-car garage. That's it. Only 3 cars.
That's odd.
So your other like 97.
Where do people park if there's 109 people
Yeah.
staying there?
Well, it wasn't 109 bedrooms. It was. I think it was only like 20 something bedrooms or something like that. But it was 109 rooms overall.
Oh, okay.
Not all of them are bedrooms.
So wait though.
There's a bowling alley, 2-lane bowling alley.
He lost the house.
Well, let's
right?
listen. I'm not done yet. This is the whole point of it. So Evander Holyfield was a millionaire. I think at prize money base, he made like almost $250 million just in prize money. If you Google his net worth right now, it's like $500,000.
What?
Okay,
I wouldn't think
because
it was that low.
he bought this house, and he spent all this money on like updating because it was an older home. He spent all this money updating. He paid like the city to change the name of the road to like Holyfield Lane. Like, I mean, this dude like, and it's on a huge. I mean, it's. I wish that you guys could see pictures. I mean, it's fucking like holy shit. It's amazing. It's a giant W, pretty much.
It's a big house saying, "Come play with me. I'm lonely as fuck."
So anyway, he spent over $50 million on this house. like just whatever. And then he spent $1 million a year for however many years he lived there. So anyway, it foreclosed on. He filed for bankruptcy. Whatever. It went into an auction. The auction didn't get sold at auction, and then Rick Ross bought the house for like $5 million.
What?
So Rick Ross currently lives in Evander Holyfield's
The boss knows a deal when he sees
109 million or 109 room house Rick Ross lives in. But the thing is like everything I was reading online is like no one lived there for like a long time. So like Rick Ross when he bought it had to put so much money into it. It's a stupid amount of money.
What I like
Vicious
what
cycle.
what I don't get is like how does a house cost $1 million to maintain?
It was that
Is it
big.
just like like lawn care?
Like lawn care.
Chefs?
No,
stuff like that?
Gotta get
just
your windows cleaned.
just your regular like maintenance on your home. So like think of like a big building, like a office building that people are in. Okay.
I don't know.
Like that. Like I mean, how much do you think it costs to like cut your grass every week?
I kind
if
of
you
just
got
be
your-
like, fuck it. At that point, $1 million a year, I'm saving $1 million. Fuck it, let it deteriorate.
No, you're not. If you're spending $50 million
You're
on
gonna
something,
lose it
you're-
anyways. Like
you're not gonna let it.
He
Well,
didn't-
he
he
didn't
wasn't
think
looking at
like
it
that.
that
Like he's a boxer, man. He's out there beating people up for money. You know what I mean? So it was all like a build up for him or whatever. Think like Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
Like everyone's, oh yeah, Tyson's tigers. It's like those tigers only cost $200,000 a year to feed. You know what I mean? Like it didn't cost you $1 million. I mean I don't know the square footage of this house, but I mean 109 rooms, 21 bathrooms.
Yeah.
Come on,
Your
man, that's
career-
ridiculous.
Your career is fickle. You just
Yeah.
getting
It's
hit in
wild.
the head so many times you don't
Yeah.
know how to do.
That's
do
the
your
big
money.
problem. Like getting punched in the head, you shouldn't be allowed to make these decisions. All right, we're getting Jaybird's number 1. So I was looking at king's ransoms and stuff like that, and I came around to the biggest ransom paid in history. It was paid to the last emperor of the Incas named Atahualpa. It was paid to the Spanish conqueror Francisco Pizarro in 1532. He received an entire haul full of gold and silver just to get this person back. Yeah, like, has anybody seen the Inca Empire since then? No.
They just gave up like all of their shit.
Yeah, they valued it at $1 billion of gold and silver.
Who what?
It was the emperor.
The emperor got.
He got
kidnapped.
swooped up. Yeah, he got swooped up by Francisco Pizarro.
Oh man.
And they're like, hey, we need our emperor back, please. And he was like, oh yeah, sure thing. Just fill this whole entire hall up with gold and
I
silver.
mean, that vice emperor is a piece of shit. He should not have had that job.
Yeah, he didn't have a backup emperor, I don't think. Yeah, so that's the biggest ransom paid in history.
Oh my God.
But like, I think to them, gold and silver was not the same thing as it was to the Spanish.
I suppose that's true.
So, but
It
it's
was-
valued at $1 billion today.
It was valuable, obviously,
hmm
but they didn't really have much use for it.
Yeah. So they didn't save their empire, honestly.
Yeah.
The Inca Empire is gone. They've got some good monuments, but yeah, they didn't survive much long after they got their emperor back.
God damn.
Beat that, Cody.
I can't. You guys are like on a way higher scale than I am with
We
these.
Google so hard.
I know. Like mine is just like a just fucking stupid one, I think. So a British guy sold his imaginary friend, John. His imaginary friend, John Malapini, for $3,000 on eBay.
That's solid, man. That is an imaginary friend. That is a
mean,
good fucking
That's
find.
$3,000 that you just made off of nothing.
Does the person get like a description of the
Yeah.
imaginary friend, like his likes and dislikes?
Do they meet before?
Yeah, like how do you
Hey,
transfer the imaginary friend?
Does he just ship him in his box? A human box?
Yeah, you wouldn't want to ship him in
I
a
don't
box. He's not a.
It had over 30 bids.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it wasn't just like one person bought this imaginary friend.
I did have an
There
imaginary
had to
friend
be-
when I was little, and he was very elaborate.
I mean, it had to have been elaborate because the dude's name is John Malapini.
Yeah.
Peenyman.
So he was like Italian, and he maybe had some connections to get you like a good line on like some snow.
There's an intricate story behind this John fellow. But that's my number one.
It was solid, man. You undercut it.
Yeah.
All right. Alrighty, well, I think that finishes off for us for the Regular Man's Manifesto. I want to thank you guys all for listening to everything that we had to say today. I think this one was a little bit smoother than previous ones. Again, leave reviews, likes, comments on anything that we post this on, and hopefully we get a positive response. Thank you, guys.
Bye. See ya.